Okay. Do we have confirmation of proper notice?
Notice is posted on the 14th according to statutory requirements.
Okay. We have roll call. Bob Coella.
Am I the only one that can't hear this?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're able to hear it.
Okay, well, it's probably me and my hearing aids and so forth, so you never can tell. Thank you.
Okay. Bob Coella?
Yep.
Yes. Carol Keller? Okay. Peter Farren?
Yep.
Deb Harder? Gus Miller? Yep. George Foster? Fisher? I'm sorry, George.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, okay. You've been gone so long, I forgot your name. I apologize. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's see. Paul Atherton?
Here.
Oh,
Great.
here's your note.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else I missed? Okay, and how many owners do we have, Chris?
We have JD from Sherwood 274. And we have somebody on the phone line, but I'm not sure who it is. Could you tell us who you are on the phone?
We have Tammy Conklin here too. Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah, I'm bad. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah,
I know you know your name. I know you know your name.
we have to check every once in a while.
Yeah. Oh, did we get the other one, Chris?
No, I'm not sure who's on the phone.
Okay,
All right.
apologize.
Okay. Good, everybody. All right.
Minutes.
Huh?
Minutes.
Yeah. We have, did everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the March 17th, 2022 meeting? And if so, do we have any corrections, deletions, additions, or are we all content with it?
My name's not showing up on that. That's not that it's that important.
Should be there.
I wasn't there at the meeting, but
Yeah.
I'm not showing up as not being in attendance.
Aha. Well, we will take care of that.
Okay.
All right, the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Motion for, please.
Motion to accept the
Motion to
minutes.
accept the minutes.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. This past month, we did some more plantings from our extensive list. Finally finished up the mulch, which was delayed from the mulch company because of supply issues and they didn't have drivers and so forth. But we finally got that done and out of the way. And also we had in-house and there were a couple of large dead trees, but we were able to do it in-house. And we've noticed on the property, we have at least one big one, and I don't know what else, but it's all pool 5, that is, right? Over by pool 5, it's a huge tree and it's green at the very top, but the trunk is split and you can see right through the trunk.
Right.
So
I've seen it.
that's a Brown's tree job. When he
Oh.
comes, it's way too big for us. Other than that, we've just had the normal calls, answering the calls, service calls, and keeping up with things. It was a little touchy this month because we were short of help. And, you know, I explained to some of the people that we are on a strict program of trimming. If we don't stick to it, we're going to fall behind because of the budget and the number of people we have and the size of the property. So some people look and see, wow, the shrubs are really long. It might be the weather, it might be the time of year, but we'll be there.
There's one other issue too, and that was the trimming of flowering plants, especially hibiscus. We inadvertently trimmed some in Pinehurst. And so for the rest, because we were starting in Pinehurst, the rest of the way across on all the other clusters, we did not. And that led to some of the people calling in saying it looked a little shaggy. When we explained the fact that we were letting the hibiscus grow, they kind of backed off.
Yeah, because a lot of people they see the hibiscus there and then we trim them,
Yeah,
you know, so
exactly.
we've been trying to be careful in that respect.
But the next trimming, we will trim them because they have to be trimmed twice a year.
Yeah,
We generally do it after they bloom.
Try to.
try to.
I mean, sometimes you have a
That
drier
depends on the
winter.
weather.
You have a
Exactly.
drier winter and it takes a little longer for to bloom.
Right.
If you get the nice wet winter, it's perfect. You can do it. The state of Florida horticultural department recommends a deep pruning in April or May and a light trim in September or October for maximize. But sometimes it's delayed because the weather doesn't cooperate and get it to you want.
Gotcha.
Any questions on any of that? from Residents, members? Okay, staff report, Jeff.
We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 20 plantings in front of units and on the front, backs, and sides of units. Your balance as of now is $7,086.80. Your rainfall for the month was 3.5 inches.
Which is where and where it should be.
We're a little behind what we should be right now, but rainy season is coming up.
Yeah.
As Bob told me, I need to start going my rain dance.
Chris, you all right hearing this?
When is the rainy
Okay.
season? Actually, it's supposed to be April. April showers bring May flowers, and Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate in that aspect of it.
I noticed we're under a red flag warning.
Yeah, we're on a fire. It's a very dry time. We are under fire watch. And you can usually associate the heavy rain season with the day the kids get out of school. It's unbelievable.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
Seemed like it happened for mine all the time. But June is when it really
Yeah,
starts coming.
June 4th.
And we just been tagging things that have to be picked up, like a couple of the beds by the signs, the boxes, the impatiens got really dry on some of them. We might have to replace a few or just more water, but this is so dry right now, it's just trying to keep up with it. And let's see. Chemical and fertilizer application. I'm gonna give the floor to John because he's done extensive research. There were people that were talking about pets and so forth, so he's been on the phone and on the computer with the state and everything, so I'll let him explain it.
Yes, we had some comments regarding the usage of both fertilizer and any chemicals that are applied. And some noticed that there's some printing on the packages for restrictive use for walking for pets or owners and things of that nature. So we also had a complaint that there weren't enough signs placed when it was done. I can tell you that Pete and happened to be Steve Abio was with us and myself, and we toured the property, and there were signs everywhere, at least every entrance and at least every entrance to the clusters, and sometime all around. So those got in. I talked to the head man of Brightview and asked him what the specific statute was for placing signs. And he said the requirement is one on the property, but they don't do that. Of course, they put it on there. But if they put one on the very front of the property, that would in fact conform with state statutes, which they don't. I mean, we must have seen, what, 60 signs?
Oh, they
70
have them
signs.
all over the
Yeah.
place, yeah.
So that's the case. Secondarily, there was some complaint about the pet friendly or non-pet friendly verbiage on the packages. And it was also brought up, could we investigate organic? And again, from the Brightview people, he said, quite frankly, that's a regulated state statute, the verbiage on the packages. He said, for a small dog, he'd have to eat 10 to 20 pounds of any product any fertilizer product, and you may not even get sick. So the limited application is safe for the animals, but they still have to have the printing on the packages because of the possible consumption of a massive amount. He also said that the wet chemicals they put down, yes, you should stay off it for 10 minutes, but unless you see carcasses of squirrels or rabbits or things of that nature, which of course we don't see, again, the 10-minute process is all they say, and that's what the sign basically says. So I was somewhat encouraged by hearing what they said. Finally, they are working with a program now on a test basis for organics, and they may have that available to roll it out in the next 3 to 5 months. Obviously, there would be a cost difference, but we'll have the opportunity to look at that.
John, on the signs, they put a fertilizer application down and the sign says pesticide application. A fertilizer application is not a pesticide. So the signs, even though they were put there, are wrong. Because it was a fertilizer application, not a pesticide application.
I brought that to their
And
attention.
there is a difference.
Yeah, I
And
did.
as far as the chemicals, it's the phosphates in the fertilizer that cause the problem. I wouldn't dare have any of the ponds that we have on the property tested, because I'm sure there's a high percentage of phosphates in that water because of the chemical application. And we do drain, all our water is drained off the property into those ponds. So I wouldn't want to have those tested, because between the fertilizers and the chemicals we put down, it's got to be in those ponds. And it's, in my thinking, it's time to go eco-friendly here, and we've got to start using the organic, whether it costs more or not, because we're a wildlife sanctuary, and we're using stuff that, in my opinion, we shouldn't be putting on the grounds.
Mayor, I'd love to say, fine, swell. You know, the organic, just like everything else, is gonna cost way more. And our budget is about like this. I wish I had a great budget. I don't. We just have our budget to just barely get enough mulch, just barely get the flowers. I'm talking with John. We have no wiggle room this month. We can't buy 2 plants. So as far as a higher cost application, right now it's out of the question, unless somebody says, yeah, PD, we'll give you more. It hasn't happened in what, 3-4 years now. Right, Jeff? The amount? Yep,
Yeah, actually, we've gone down as far as your.
budget wise, yeah.
Budget-wise, we started out at memory serves about 15,000 a couple of years ago. Now you're down to 10.
And unfortunately with the insurance thing.
Oh,
the whole
I know, I
process
see,
just-
that's why I said, you know,
Like
John
that.
and I said, you know, with the way things are now, we're gonna have maintenance, you know, fee increase
Right,
because of the insurance, so it's no time to go say we need more money.
right.
So,
What's the phosphate level in the fertilizer?
The middle number when you're reading the
The
bag.
middle number?
yeah, we have 3 numbers,
And
yeah.
I
phosphates
mean, what is the
are
level?
not good for the environment.
No, I'm very aware of what phosphate is. I'm just
Yep.
curious what the level is.
It
Because
depends on the fertilizer that they
fertilizer.
use.
We can get the numbers. I'll get the numbers.
I'm just curious,
Yeah.
because a lot of companies have eliminated phosphate in their fertilizer.
We can get the numbers from the gentleman he was
It
talking
varies
about.
of- The name of the product, like,
Yeah.
I know they don't use Scots, they use a
They use a
generic random fertilizer, but it depends on what they use. The numbers can change.
Phosphate,
that's
isn't that what
Out of
the,
all the fertilizer,
point.
the phosphate is the worst.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to do maybe an organic one anywhere near the water and just inside the?
It's the runoff.
it's just
It's the
runoff. so
runoff.
that-
It's a runoff, just like,
What goes under?
and it's same with, you know, the city or any going into the sewer system and the runoff. It's,
I was just thinking runoff up from rain is what I was.
yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Hey, if I may, the last report I got from Brightview was, January's report, and their fertilizer they put down was 4,450 pounds. And it was a 1608, so there was no phosphate.
So
in
there
it.
was no
Zero.
phosphate.
Was not.
There-
whatsoever.
There's no
That's
phosphate.
good. I mean, if it's-
Yeah,
if they
that's
continue
good.
to use that.
So that's positive. Any other questions, discussion on that subject? Owners, anybody?
No, the only comment I have is if we are a wildlife sanctuary.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do have to kind of look into this. That's just my,
Oh, yeah, like I said, I'd love to, but
I understand.
Well, we are on Ed Coyle's list to call when they get through with their study. They are doing some practice applications. He
I don't hear
wouldn't
this.
be able to get any pricing or anything like that right now, but he will. We're very fortunate. Our fertilization program, which is.
Could you speak up, please?
Sure.
Difficult to
How about
hear.
this? Can you, I'm
That's
serious.
better.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
Thank you.
our fertilization prices remained the same on this property for 5 years. So I hesitate to push it too much, but you know, if it comes within reason, we'll be able to take a look at it. That's all.
if we
Sorry,
eventually,
Paul.
if we
Okay,
eventually get
thank
the
you.
figures to work with, then we can maybe deal, I don't know. But if we have the figures, at least we can take a shot.
We can't hear.
All right.
Definitely gonna be more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we know it's gonna be more.
Anything that's good for you is more.
You got that right.
Yeah, okay. Even Jack Daniels went up.
Any other questions or concerns on that subject?
Yeah, I have one,
Sure.
Peter. I think the discussion about phosphates being a part of the fertilizer program is a legitimate one. You want to try to eliminate as much of the phosphate as possible, because that does tend to show up in runoff and pollution. And from what I've been told, the water that we have and are probably using for most of the watering and the sprinklers would certainly have some phosphorus in it. Most Florida water does. And so the need for adding phosphorus to the fertilizer plan probably isn't a very high priority.
Did you hear Jeff when he said what they use? What they used and had.
Yes,
zero
yes,
phosphorus?
yes. I saw that. I heard that.
I mean.
And I
we
think
can-
I
we
think
can
that's
control, yeah.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do. I'm not sure what organic fertilizers you can use to replace nitrogen and potash. Those are, I mean, the kinds of things for nitrogen would be like fish meal and dried blood and things like that, which are it's hard to apply enough to make a substantial difference in those situations.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris. Any other comments?
It's a good point. And you know, what would you say, Jeff, the preponderance of our irrigation is reused water?
It's all reclaimed.
Okay, so I'm
Recycle.
sure we could get maybe a report from the county on what the reclaimed water percentage of phosphorus is, and I'll work on that. So we'll take a look at it.
Okay, good. All right, do we have any owners' requests?
In the back of my gate, Jeff. Or look, I assume you was the one. There's a branch that fell off the tree and it's stuck.
Okay.
Stuck. And I need a pole.
Request.
Could they speak up a little bit, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a request to pick up a tree limb that fell behind 101.
It's still stuck in the tree.
It's in the tree. It's in the tree. All right.
Okay, sure. Any other requests?
I have a comment. So I don't
Fine,
know if you
fine,
want me to
no.
wait
No,
until
no,
after.
no, fine, yeah.
So I wanted to bring an idea to the committee. This is my first time coming, so thanks for having me.
Good, no, keep coming. You can even join the committee
Thank you.
if you want to be on two things.
Thank you. Thank you. About our hurricane cuts for, we're going into hurricane season, and I know we usually trim up the palms. And I had done some research on the hurricane cut and how it can be eliminated to increase the health of the tree, increase the stability of the tree, because with less foliage, it has less root to anchor it into the ground, and could also save us potentially thousands of dollars on our landscaping bills coming up, which, I mean, on the shoestring budget that you're talking about could really make a huge difference. So I can go into it more. I've also printed off some articles that I can give to the group if you want to know more about it.
Fine, sure. That would be
Okay.
appreciated. Yeah.
So what I've learned about the hurricane cut is that it was sold by landscaping companies as a way to reduce the amount of wind friction on a tree, and pushing that would save it from falling over during high wind events. But what they've done over the years studying it is that it actually inclines the tree to fall over more, because it reduces the amount of foliage that's on the tree. So the tree brings in less nutrients. They usually get skinnier trunks and less root coverage. And that leaving a fuller crown on the palm can make the trees stronger and firmer in the ground, and that the leaves are so aerodynamic that cutting them off really doesn't make that big of a difference, and actually exposes the bulb of the palm to potentially more damage. So anyways, the in here is some articles, but then also some assets from IFAS, University of Florida IFAS, about you know, how you can trim off the brown but leave the green. And gosh, I just think about all the man hours that we spend, you know, having the companies come in and trim them all up.
Yeah.
And it could be so many days of savings.
So what you're saying is the only stuff that will go was the dead stuff.
Yeah, dead stuff. Or if you want to, you could take off the flowering bits if they're, you know, next to sidewalks and people don't want it, you know, fruiting on the sidewalk. Or you know, they even say that you can go up to like a 9 and 3 if you want a cleaner look, but that it's fine to let the palm have a full lollipop, you know.
Okay.
Head on the
All right. I appreciate it. This is good. Yeah. You did a lot of work.
For everything that you guys do. Love the trees here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
It's great.
For those who might not have heard, she has a packet that we can get to you all if you leave a couple more. Okay. And that's regarding the trimming of trees. I know that your former neighbor, or the neighbor just before you, Miss Nosal, was a great proponent of this, and it used to be quite a debate.
Yeah. It seemed like it was a trendy thing for a while, and a lot of landscaping companies were pushing it to try to push up the bill.
No, she was against, she was definitely against it. Yeah. Must run in that area of your.
Can't hear anything.
Yeah, you're, you know, we're not able to hear the woman speak.
Okay, that's Tiffany Conklin, and she has, here she comes.
Hi, everybody. How is this?
That's better, Tiffany.
Okay, I was just pitching an idea to the group that I've done some research on hurricane cuts for trees, palm trees specifically, and how they were pushed by landscaping companies to push up the bill sometimes, but that, you know, that taking the fronds off of the palm tree would create less wind resistance, and they'd be less likely to fall over during a high wind event like a hurricane. And so we spend so much money, you know, trimming up the palm trees every year. But the research that I've done has shown that leaving more foliage on the palm is actually beneficial to the palm, that the leaves are so aerodynamic that it doesn't really, do anything in terms of drag. And because they have more foliage, they can bring in more energy and create a stronger trunk and a more full root system, which actually anchors the tree into the ground a lot better. And the packets that I provided, there's a couple studies in there, some articles, but then a study of before Hurricane Wilma, one property had given all of their palms a hurricane cut, and then the property next door did not give their palms a hurricane cut, and they counted up all the down trees afterwards, and the ones with the hurricane cut fell over more frequently than the ones that were left to be natural. So we're spending so much money, on these palms. I was thinking about the man hours that it could save and the money that it could save for our budget to not purchase the hurricane cut and potentially increase the health of the trees as well, and the safety of, them not falling over during high wind events.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would totally agree. I think that that is really some proven research that we really need to take into account.
Okay, that's good. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
And like I said, we can make more copies of that if people want it, okay?
Absolutely.
All
And I
right.
can send you digital links if you want.
All right, sure.
We had a palm fall over back between Woodlawn and Lakeside, out in that kind of open area.
In the big open area there,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was, do you know, Jeff? What was?
It
the
was like,
reason?
I can answer that one. That was like a pit, and
Yeah.
it got totally wet and soaked and
Got drowned.
it
Got drowned.
rotted it. It rotted
Really?
it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was a live tree. I mean, it
Yeah.
still had all of
It
its.
just rotted out because
It
that was one of
rotted
these
all the
areas
base.
and some of the water was sitting there. Yeah,
One more thing.
sure.
Peter,
Wait a second,
sorry.
Chris.
sure.
Behind 102 also, I don't know if it's a tulip tree or whatever it is, the top 10, 12 feet of it is nothing but dead branches.
Yeah.
If when it comes time for the big truck to come or something, because I'm sure it's too low.
We'll look at it.
Take,
Sure, we'll see if we can do it in-house or we have to wait for Brown to come.
That's pretty far up there.
That's
Because we
pretty-
took those big ones out that were rotten behind 110.
Yeah,
And we looked at the ones down by the lake at that time. There were some wanting to take out. And if you go back and take a look now, they're fully leafed. So it's a good thing we didn't.
yeah,
So I'll look at this.
yeah,
Sure.
well, these have no leaves, nothing on them, and just, and they're.
I'll look at it, Carol.
okay, good. Yes, Chris?
JD has his hand up. He would like to say something.
Okay, all right.
Righto. Can you hear me okay? Testing?
Yeah,
Super. Just an observation I want to share with the group. And that is, after they landscape and cut the grass and they blow the leaves, my observation has been that since I try to push the leaves out to the street, hopefully that they will be taken away, they get pushed back in to the homes and underneath the steps, and they're just piling up underneath. And I'm just concerned whether, these oak leaves, do they really deteriorate? And if not, they last a very long time. Could it potentially cause for any kind of animals to live there since it's growing like a little anthill? So just wondering what could be done, if anything, and it's just an observation that I've seen recently.
what's this, under the stairways?
Yes, so when they cut the lawn and they blow the leaves, what they do normally is they're blowing the leaf towards the homes underneath the steps and back into the grass.
Jeff, how would you address that for JD?
Well, the guys were just around 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and blew all the leaves and everything out and picked them all up. Pinehurst is probably the worst in here. You could go in and pick them all up today and tomorrow would look exactly the same. As far as blowing, the guys are starting to, when they go in and trim, to blow everything out and pick it all up. Unfortunately, we don't have the manpower to pick everything up on a daily basis. If we did, you'd probably need about 5 guys, another trailer, and more backpack blowers, because you could blow everything out, pick it up today, and tomorrow will look exactly the same as it does today. Because you have so many oak trees in here, and oak trees just drop leaves all the time.
Well, there isn't a season.
No, no.
They're perennial killers.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, this is JD again. Can I make a suggestion, sort of, kind of? Is it possible, I'm just thinking, is it possible for each member in their cluster to borrow, let's say, a blower and make a big pile in one place and then request to have it been picked up by one of the laborers? So that wouldn't use a lot of staffing. Just for a possibility, let's say if someone would lend me one of those good leaf blowers, I could take maybe a whole row and just push them all out to the middle of the street and collect them, put a nice pile there, and then ask to be picked up. Would that be helpful? And could that be a possibility? I'm not saying I'm going to do it right away. It's just a possibility.
Now, as a matter of fact, it's certainly a interesting concept to consider. However, our insurance company does not allow us for risk management purposes to allow to any equipment, not a screwdriver, not a ladder, not anything. So you unfortunately have to have your own type of blower to do that.
Did you hear that, JD?
Yep, got it. Thank you. It's a shame, but yeah, I understand the situation.
And we'll pay attention, but our guys are instructed to blow when they blow out, they're supposed to blow away from the buildings out towards the parking lots or streets. So we'll double check with that, okay?
Has there been a problem with oak trees? Or this, what we've seen through the first part of this year, seems like they've thinned out a lot of leaves, a lot more leaf drop. Is that just the dry weather?
It's a combination of dry weather and we do get a heavy fall. I mean, it's, you're in the 700s, you get a little bit, but where Jeff was talking about in the A and B clusters, it's crazy. I mean, it's literally crazy, and it's a normal thing. And the past 2 years, we've gone in and culled some of the older branches out of there, and it has helped somewhat. So where in the past, maybe 6 or 7 years before any of the oaks were even touched, we are getting around to them to start to do some internal work. That will
So
help
it's not a
them.
health issue with the trees.
No, it's just,
It's
that's-
just the cycle of.
that's their nature, yeah.
It rains in Pinehurst. Oh, yeah, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
And they came on a Friday 1 week and cleaned everything up. It looked beautiful. Sandy, it looked like Jeff said, it looks like they were never there. And that's just overnight. It just rains.
Wow.
Oak leaves.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, you're right in that corner.
Yeah.
Is that where the majority of oak trees are, is in Pinehurst?
Yes, towards front, yes. And you could have just a crew going around and just picking up leaves 24, always long,
24/7.
and they'd still never.
We
get them all
have, we
picked
have a woman that does that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Flood is now going back north.
She's going back.
She
north
averages
now.
about 8 bags a week.
Wow. And she could even tell you how many she picks up.
Oh,
too.
yeah, because she puts the same amount of number of leaves in every bag.
She counts the leaves.
No,
So-
seriously.
so no, and we, yeah, lady in Sherwood, yeah. No, I mean, and she really has a great intent, and it's squeaky clean there.
They're talking about too many leaves in the stairwell and around the cluster.
Okay, any other owners, comments?
I have one,
Yeah.
Peter. Barbara Carey gave me a very interesting document. I put it on the website. It's in the announcements area. It's called A Guide to Living with Urban Coyotes. And I think it's a useful document. We have coyotes, no doubt about it. And there's no reason we can't live with them. So this document was produced by the Florida wildlife people, the state, and it's a good document. I think it's something that people should take a look at. There are some cautions you should take with your pets, especially early in the morning and in the evening. But the coyotes are probably doing us a lot more good than they are harm.
Okay, good, Chris. Thanks a lot. I agree with that.
My wife just bought her air horn.
There you go.
George has his hand up, Peter.
All right, George.
That's what they recommend in that article.
I know,
Scare
I
me.
have them in Massachusetts at home. I ride my lawnmower and
George,
they walk 6 feet away from me, right by me. Like I'm not even there. They get used to the noise. The biggest problem we have and at home in Massachusetts, like you're gonna have here, if somebody decides they feel sorry for them and start putting food out for them,
oh, we have the,
then you'll have a enormous problem.
that's a strict thing in here anyway. No, I mean, we've dealt with that
People
numerous
feeding the
times.
Don't feed
wildlife.
anything.
Yeah.
George, did you want to talk?
Coyotes.
Yeah, Peter, you mentioned briefly in the beginning about the cluster boxes.
Yeah,
I would appreciate just pay a little attention to cluster box M.
and,
One by one, the flowers died. They're all dead.
All right. Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Ours are doing the same thing, but I think the irrigation out there right now is not catching them enough. I've watered them a couple times myself, but the ones more towards the front are the ones that are dying. They were doing really well, and all of a sudden here lately, they just,
Where it's been so dry, we can get Ed to check the boxes, make sure they're all getting the water.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was the water in this case, but it could be. But
Okay.
like I said, it was just like, it's almost like they had a blight or something, just one by one they died. Every couple of days.
703.
703.
All right, George, we'll look at that. We have a few others.
Those things are
No,
dying.
I know, but I just wanted to mention it. M is gone. Thank you.
All right.
there are several that are pretty dead.
I don't know if it's part of the heat or what, Jeff. What's your?
I think we're getting into a season where it's starting to heat up. And impatiens, you can only water them so much, and then eventually the heat's gonna get them because they're succulent. They're not made for summertime. They're made for the off season between like September, February, March. Now that we're getting into the hotter part of the year, yeah, they.
Gonna have to replace
You
most
can
of
water
them.
them every day.
Gonna
and still
replace
won't make it
most of
because
them.
the summer drying out.
Is there anything down here that survives in this kind of heat through the summer?
The Vinca did very well last time.
Survives the
But
heat.
they don't like wet
When I
season.
call ergonomics,
Rainy season, when they get wet, they don't last either.
plant something that doesn't die in Florida.
Yeah, it's been a debate over the years. The plants of the ground now that are starting to wilt because of the heat are far and away the most beautiful during the, say, Christmas to Easter time. And the debate is don't put the annuals in, put in something that grows. But so many of these boxes are close to asphalt, and close to heat things, and how many times have we tried different things in those boxes?
The only
They just
thing that's
don't
ever
last.
worked is the impatiens.
Yeah, but only for a period of time.
Only for a
I
period.
mean, last summer, it looked so bad when I went around. I almost brought to this committee the suggestion to take out the boxes.
Yep.
I mean, it just, but then you went around and rebuilt the wood.
Yeah.
So at least that looked good, but there's almost nothing to put in the summertime.
Really, that's what it is. And as soon as we get to like October, then we put the impatiens back in and they're good until, now.
Easter now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that flowers on Cortez Road are really doing as well. as they are.
I looked at them too. I don't know whether that's a little more shade, a little more shade there, than what we get here.
But they're
And a
exposed.
larger area, deeper bed,
All the traffic.
There really is no annuals that can stand.
No.
They just can't.
Yeah.
The heat doesn't.
What do you suggest?
Before the impatiens, we tried how many, forget it.
We tried begonias, we tried geraniums, we even put in poinsettias for a while, vincas, periwinkle.
Talk about how hot it is.
First lane, I mean, we tried at least 15 different types of flowers and everything in these boxes.
Yeah.
And patients are the best ones for the season.
Yep. So maybe like John said, it's just you'll do it. And then in the summer, you know, instead of running around chasing your tail, just have to,
Summertime, they're almost
Yeah.
better off leaving them empty.
yeah.
That's what, well, that's
It's
what I'm
just throwing
thinking.
good
That's
money
what-
away
that's
trying
what-
to grow plants that they
Right.
need.
And
It's
come
not
the,
gonna work.
come the fall, you
Yeah,
turn it
I know
over.
people are gonna look and say, where are the flowers? But you're just throwing money away trying to, in the midsummer. Nothing is gonna thrive in that heat.
No,
Not an annual flowering plant.
Yeah.
It's a shallow box. to
Shallow
start
bed.
with,
They
you know.
heat up too much.
that's what we'll do. Okay,
They're in fact a raised bed.
yeah.
And unless you stand there all day long with a watering can, there is nothing. And even then, the more water you put on them, an annual, they're gonna rot. The more
Yeah, so you
a wet rot, so you're.
damned if you
losing
do and
battle
damned
in
if
the
you don't. It's
summertime.
just, you know, maybe just go with empty beds in the summer period, you know? Yep.
It's a cost saving. 'Cause you're just throwing
Paul,
money
Paul
away.
would like to make a comment.
Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, as we've been discussing and so forth, certain plants and so forth die out. Lack of water, so, you know, as we've talked here and previously, I don't believe we make enough use of the extension agency that's right around the corner from us. And they will frequently, John and people that have been here, they will frequently send people out here and discuss our problem. So it might be well worth our time rather than experimenting ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, Paul, thanks.
Save money,
Anything else?
money saving.
Okay, the next meeting will be, sir.
Hey, before you sign off, Peter,
Yeah,
I want to make a comment where we need to take a look, see. Building 335, no, excuse me, let me back up. 333, the front area near the walk. On the right-hand side is an area about 10 by 12 or so. It's just about died out. We put some sort of a decorative grass there some while ago, but now all we've got is just a good space.
I will
yeah,
look at
I
it.
know that. Yeah.
On the left side of it, possibly just one hibiscus would assist us. Now, one more comment here. We've been discussing for a long period of time, or at least I have, in front of 335, we needed Ixora and so forth. You planted an Ixora there, great. I don't think we bought the biggest Ixora available, but anyway, we've got one there. Somebody take a look, see if it's getting any water. I don't think you get water there, because that's not the only thing. You get a lot of problems with water. Now, John, don't we have one guy that his primary job is looking after our sprinkler system and so forth?
Yes, Paul, you're correct.
Anyway, take a look. Maybe we could get the Reverend, that's where Reverend Ed lives. Maybe we get him to come out with a hose and give it a little. Now, that's something that might be of some assistance. You know, ask the residents to give us a little help. Where you got shrubs and so forth, that'll help. Give us a little assistance, use your hose and water the area down. Anyway, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Oh, you make a very good point, because many of the residents, when they get the flowers or the shrubs, do come out and do some hand watering. We also have our irrigation man after the new plants go in to go around for a couple of weeks and spray them. So, but there's no doubt if the residents can put a little water on it, it always helps. That's a very good point.
Okay, John, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. All righty, so.
Hey, I've got one comment.
Sure.
About our grass cutting schedule. Is it every 2 weeks?
No, it'll start being every week now.
Okay.
It used to be whenever we start to see the grass, especially out here in the field, get a little higher, we mow. We didn't mow last week because of well, actually, we mowed week before because we had a party. And then we had cooler weather at nighttime, which means the grass could lose and growing. But now that we're starting getting warmer nights and much warmer days, we're gonna start mowing every week.
Over there by Oakview, as you go back towards Woodlawn and Lakeview, those areas get really long before you cut. And then they don't look good. I mean, they look, more misses, a
Yeah.
percentage of it. Tiffany lives back that way. You probably know what I'm talking about.
It's a different type of grass.
Man, it looks like Augustine. It's just,
It's not, it's a tough deep grass. Actually, when I mow that, I have to mow real slow. Because if I mow fast, it's not gonna cut it.
yeah.
Mowing slow, it actually kind of lays it down. If you mow fast, if you mow slow, it kind of like gives you a chance for it to cut. You have to, there's actually a swale in here too that you gotta line up and cut and
Yeah.
everything else. But yeah, since we're gonna start mowing every week, it'll hopefully start to come back into fruition, and start looking the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, we'll be mowing every week until probably late September now.
Yeah.
And it does sometimes get rough, say in January, when it's like 3 weeks before we went.
Yeah. That just looks really bad back there. I mean, it almost looks like it needs to be cut, left for a couple hours and then hit it again just to clean it up. Cause you're not cutting all of it. It's leaving the more on one edge tends to leave a little higher than the other edge. And that's not a height adjustment. I'm familiar. I owned a hustler just like what you guys used. And if it was, and we had fescue, and if you're familiar with fescue, it's not as well, it loads up with water.
Yeah.
And it's just hard for the deck. And I was mulching all the time. So, you got to cut it twice.
Yeah.
If you want it to look good, you got to go over some areas. So.
Okay.
I don't know, it's been mentioned here a couple times, manpower. Are we short manpower because of budget? Or are we short because we can't hire people? There's nobody out there wanting to work. What's the situation with that?
We're at the max of our budget. But occasionally in the summertime, we'd like to, get another person here, but the qualified person, no. We've tried to help the employees. We're actually running one person right now, one position less. And because there was no money for the employees, they voted to get as much as done as possible and give them the raise that this person would have filled. So I would say probably down 2 or 3 from 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But much better workers.
We used to have 6 people on the trim crew. Now we have 3. One of them actually got moved over for spraying, so so now you're just down 2.
See, from 6 to 2.
Not
So,
enough.
And they used to get paid $8 an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, and quite frankly, the average now is 15.
No, I realize that. I mean, and I understand we're in a really tough time right now with the insurance issue and it's really crunched our budget, but we also can't defer too much maintenance because it will pile up and then it'll be, it's a death thing. So.
We were with you 100% on that.
Oh, I'm the first one to back it. And like I said, the budget is like, you walk in and you run into a closed door the last 3-4 years. And these guys, that's why I always tell everybody, just take a look at the scope of the job and the amount of people we have. It's amazing what they get done. One day last week, just one man, put all the rest of the mulch down by himself. Because, right?
One man.
Yep.
One person laid all the rest of the.
Yep.
mulch down on 5
So
acres.
that's what we're up against right now.
Do it.
Can we volunteer?
Huh?
Can we volunteer?
Sure. Sure.
The biggest problem we have here is 99% of the people that live here are here because of what we have.
Right.
But for some reason, we don't want to spend the money to maintain it.
This is the
I
point.
said that for
People
years
really
here.
like what we
They,
have.
they moved here for what we have, but they're very tight, but want to spend the money to maintain what we have. I don't know how you change people's the way you look at that, the budget needs to be a lot more in that budget. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why we're here, it's because what we have, but we gotta lose. I know it's tough with the money,
Now
but
they're shy people.
Unfortunately,
like
One spend $8
like
an
was
hour.
said
on one.
before, if we
Nobody's
get
gonna work
behind
for
on
you
maintenance,
15
there is no way to
It
catch
is.
up. You're done.
that's why the more people that speak up, we speak up, and maybe we'll get something. But everybody knows that's a fact. People come in here and I'll be going around, John and I will be going around, and they're a new owner, and they, you know, the first thing they said why they moved here, because of the landscaping, not the building, not the inside, because of the grounds. You know,
I
Yep.
pay more for the ground.
yeah.
Whatever that's worth.
And unfortunately, because of that, it's a high cost. It's maintenance heavy to maintain what we have here.
Sure it is.
And with the help we have, they're doing a great job because
Yep, yep,
there's a lot to do here.
you got it. All right,
Paul had another comment.
okay.
As I listen to the discussion we're having here related to lack of help, yep, this really bothers me. People come in here and are admirable about the facility and so forth. Now, you're trying to tell me that our budget doesn't have enough money to get the help we need to keep this place in the posture that it has been and won't be if we don't do the. Now my concept of a budget is only a roadmap. It's not something stuck in cement. And I think John can tell us, or at least tell me, can't you shift enough money around so that we can get the help that we need here? And if not, then these committee guys need to get their heads together and see where we can, I think maybe back off and just cut that off. We need to go to the people and get more money to run this. Do we want this to be forgive me, a HUD establishment? Well, I sure as the devil won't. And I've got at least 2 more generations that have probably lived here in Wildewood. And they want to keep it at the same posture it is now. But getting down to this dollars and cents, you know, this idea of trying to squeeze a budget where we can't keep it so it looks decent, I think that's preposterous. And it's our fault. Now, I'm not too sure we're too smart when it comes to the budget. Just take this committee alone. I think last year we turned $12,000 back. Now that could really help somewhere along the line relating to health. But come on, guys, can't we do better than what we're doing on the budget? I didn't realize that we were trying to skimp by on pennies where we need dimes.
Paul,
We can do better. Thank you.
Paul, you've asked several questions and they're all valid questions. Part of the issue is, and you know, you've been on some of those budget committees, this operating surplus that we had has been used 4 years ago, 80,000, 3 years ago, 60,000, 2 years ago, 40,000, this year, 30,000. All were expenses that we knew were going to come and we didn't budget. We took from the money we had in the bank. Why? Keep the fees the same, keep the fees the same. That's all you heard. Well, no matter what we did during those times, we had the latitude to talk just about what you did. We took care of the $85,000, $90,000 worth of hurricane damage. We took care of other things that weren't in the budget. So that's a good thing. That fund is gone, as I predicted it would be 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And part of what the assessment is, people are gonna take a look at in May, is to try to get some more money back in there so there can be some latitudes for emergencies or for requirements. So you've hit you know, the wheel on the head, or the nail on the head, but the problem is it's exacerbated by this unbelievable insurance increase. I mean, 2 years ago, we paid 295,000. Next year, it's predicted we're going to pay 566,000. That's real dollars. And it just cuts into everything. Nobody wants to maintain this place better than I with you, or you with me, however we want to do it. I mean, it's so gratifying to hear people come in. Yesterday, they came in, they come down from Michigan. They weren't going to buy anything. They walked into this place and said, oh my God, I'm going to buy that. And they paid who knows what for it. And that's what the values are of these places. So we want to maintain them. By God, we want to maintain them.
John, I appreciate what you've been doing. I think you're as good as some and better than most when it comes to management of a facility and so. And I appreciate the effort you've done here. As I said, you're as good as some, and I think you're a hell of a lot better than most. Thank you.
Okay. You got to deal with the devil you got instead of the one you don't got, right?
Yep.
Thanks,
If I
Paul.
might, Peter, I think that we're spending $40, $50, $60,000 on the hurricane trimming, right?
Yeah, we are spending, yeah, it's up there and it's close to, it's about 30.
Well, I think that Tiffany's valid point is that maybe we shouldn't be spending that money on hurricane trimming, and that we should be spending that on plants and landscaping. I think that's something we should take a very, very good look at before we spend that money this summer.
We can look into it.
All right.
Yeah.
As I said, I've been involved with this debate here years ago, and every other community that I was associated with when we had our company. There are very, very, very good reasons to follow what Tiffany's suggesting, except for the concept of the aesthetics that the owners are going to bring. That's where it comes. I mean, the owners like to see that clean. They don't like to see things coming down. They don't like to see the beads coming down. I know, but I mean, the vast preponderance of people want to see the 1 and 11s. Because things don't drop down, things don't, I mean, you know, it cleans it may be negative to the tree, no doubt. I mean, these studies, I've seen them, they're all good, they're all right. But if you just cut to 3 and 15, within 5 to 6 weeks, 3 to 15 is down here and down here. And people are saying, my God, well, how can you let these leaves go? I mean, I've brought fronds. So I'm not fighting against it. I'm just saying, this is what we're going to hear.
Maybe it's a re-education process to the owners.
Exactly.
To understand what this cost us, what we're saving.
Right.
And it's better for the health of the tree.
And I don't know, I'm gonna guess, because I got a note here to talk to John Brown to see what a less cut would cost. Like I said, we're averaging close to $30,000 for the palm trees and 15, roughly 15 for the rest of the trees if we take care of the carrot woods and the oaks and everything like that. If he went to a 3 and 15, would it still cost 20 grand? I mean, I don't know, because of the machinery and the haul up. A good portion of the cost of tree trimming today is the dump fees. The more because the county dump fees are so much higher where this used to go. I mean, 3 and 4 times what it used to be. Yes, he has labor increases. Yes, that he brings in 3 trucks with the big, I don't know if you've ever seen them, with the big scoops. They're each $290,000, those trucks that he uses to get over so he doesn't break things. But that's his issue, not ours. But what I'm saying is that although he has that expense for equipment and labor expense, and he had them hard, I mean, talk to some of the guys this year that were doing the work and they're saying, oh my God, see that one over there. They don't even do a damn thing, but we have to have them because the labor is so, and it's hard for them to get. They've had increases, but the biggest increase they have is taking our materials and dumping it someplace else.
Yeah,
if we want to pursue Gus's idea of a re-education campaign,
Free lunch.
it's just aesthetics versus, sorry. I can-
no, that's okay. No, that's fine.
They should hear her. Yeah, come on up.
I was just saying that if we like Gus's idea that maybe a re-education campaign could help so that even though residents are used to the hurricane cut, that maybe if they see the benefits of not doing a hurricane cut and the money saved, that it could convince people the other way. I'm happy to volunteer my time. I'm in marketing and graphic design, and I build websites all the time. So I'm happy to build a campaign, something to help us put it out to the residents if we decide that we want to do it, if that would be helpful to the group.
What does everybody think?
I think it's a great idea.
Right?
I personally
do.
don't like the hurricane cut.
Me
To me, that's a naked tree.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's not what they're supposed to look like.
It seems,
And if you are, and like I said, if you read this, when you take from the top, you're weakening the bottom. The top is what builds the root system. The more you cut off the top, you're weakening the tree. You're not helping it, you're weakening the tree.
so you could do that?
I will do it, yes, if it means that we could save the money and help strengthen. the
Anything that's
trees.
gonna give me money to do other things with, that I'm avoiding doing
All right.
right now. All right,
I'll be on your committee and we can.
because that's, I mean, that's, that, and
I thought if they
we know
see
we're gonna get hit with,
money,
you know,
they can hire someone.
oh, no, you know,
Yeah.
but I, no, fine. I mean, if it isn't too much for you, it's
No,
fine.
I'll do it.
How can we help you?
Yeah, I mean, what can
What
we
can we do
do?
to help you?
We'll just talk and see what kind of information you'd want on it. and-
Okay.
And I'll build it, whatever it is.
All right, sounds good, guys, huh?
Not really a palm tree.
If he builds it, they will come. right?
Yeah.
Until they change their mind.
I think the focus, there's two pieces to it. I think the focus really needs to be on the fact that we're gonna end up with healthier trees.
Right.
That ought to really be the
That are gonna
focus.
last
because We
longer.
all love our palm trees.
That's, the trees are gonna be healthier. That's a biggie.
And the other benefit is.
You know,
the
it's-
money saved.
It's just not a little brown frond that's gonna bother, no, it's good for the tree, period. Yeah,
Right, right.
all right, good. That'll work. Okay,
Good job.
great.
Good job.
All right, so
Any other comments?
any other comments from anybody? Chris, okay?
We're fine, thank you.
All right. So our next meeting will be,
Hold on a second.
it'll be the third Thursday.
Third
of-
Thursday of May. Will you
May.
still be here, Pete?
Yeah.
Twenty-six.
Come on,
Wait.
no, it would be around
Here
the
we go.
19th or something.
19th.
Sorry.
19th?
May 19.
Okay, that'll be our next meeting. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay.
Made it, Karen?
Hmm?
Carol? You made the motion.
Yeah,
Who made the
okay.
motion?
All right, great. Thanks for your help and. like I
Lively
said,